in taking care of themselves. Much love to all of you. So today on this Thursday, we are going to be talking about Liverpool. Someone asked me to make a video about Liverpool and how I play with them. So I'm going to be talking about the tactics, the instructions, the variations, things to watch out for, things to exploit, and their strengths and weaknesses. But the reason why I talk about two variations in most of my videos because I've got a different set of people that come to my channel. Some people play attacking, some people play defensive, some people like the drop back, some people like the high press. So I'm going to try and make this video as universal as possible, as well balanced as possible. So I'm talking to all audience, do you know what I mean? I'm not just talking for the people that play high press. I'm talking to the drop backs, the balance type of players, you know what I mean? So hopefully this video appeals to you lot. But yeah, man, Liverpool, it makes sense to go, you know, with a high press and be very aggressive because that's how they normally play in real life. They kind of cut down a little bit. They don't do it as much, but you do see the likes of Firmino, Salah, you know, Mane. They do more of the cover shadowing now, you know what I mean? Instead of the really aggressive press. You do see it at times, but you know, their press is very organized these days. You know, back in the day it was very unorganized at times, but it brought a lot of success. But yeah, man, it has its weaknesses, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, we're gonna be talking about the 4-3-3 first, and then we're gonna be talking about the three at the back, also known as the five at the back, and what I do and why I use the five at the back. Now, there is a lot of misconceptions with the three at the back. A lot of people say, you know, how can I use my fullbacks, you know, in a four at the back? Because it can be very difficult because Liverpool play with their fullbacks very high up. So you've got Alexander Arnold, almost plays as like a right wing back slash right mid when they go forward. Then you obviously got, you know, Robertson providing that width. Do you know what I mean? So to implement that on the game with a 4-3-3 can be very difficult because a lot of players play from the wing. You know what I mean? So your opposition, 9 times out of 10, is Bayern Munich, Koeman, Sané in the wing. You got Alexander Arnold, Robertson going forward. There you go, man. You've been exploited, you know, on the counter. So it's very difficult to get exactly the same. So this is what I've decided to do. I've got Alisson in goal. I've got Alexander Arnold right back, and then I've got Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Thiago, Wijnaldum, Firmino, Mane, Salah. So this is the tactics I've used. Press after lost possession. Now the only way you can use your fullbacks is if you can press and play a switch well. Because if you can play a switch and press well, then the opponent doesn't have enough time to pick up a pass, like pick their head up and make a pass. You know what I mean? The only way a counter attack's gonna work is if your opponent's got time to make a pass. If you don't give him the time, then he will never make the pass. Do you know what I mean? So the best way to stop a counter is to press. Do you know what I mean? The best way to stop a counter is to keep the ball. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I would personally do: is press after lost possession. There's many ways you can practice player switching, you know, go into a career match, go into an exhibition, and literally just focus on switching with your analog sticks. Very important. If you're trying to press, drop back is different, you know what I mean? It depends on your formation and stuff, but I'll definitely practice your player switching and your press. Do you know what I mean? Get really tight to your opponent. Don't give them space. Don't give them time to breathe. Do you know what I mean? Get into them. Get stuck in. Do you know what I mean? So press after lost possession. The width, I have it on 5. The depth, I have it on 5. I think that's the most well balanced high press formula you can do in this game. I feel having it too high can leave a lot of space, you know what I mean, for width and depth. So just have it on 5. Do you know what I mean? That's the balance. That's the way for me. At the same time, you still got somewhat of a solid defense. You know what I mean? If you got the depth up here, there's balls in behind. If you got it all the way wide, then there's, you know, space in between the lines, you know, for players and your opposition to pick up the ball. So have it on 5. It's just balanced for me. Balanced. You know me, a balance. You can do counter attacking. You can do fast build up. You could do everything with a balanced build up. So that's why I go balance. It's the best way to play on the game, in my opinion. The width, the width, it's up to you. It can be 6 or 5. I say 6 and 5 because I have my. I'm gonna get onto that. I'm gonna get onto that. All right, I'll get back onto that. I'll get back onto that. But the players in the box, you got three centre mids now, so you can afford maybe a Wijnaldum to get in the box, knowing that if you lose the ball, you got Thiago and Fabinho to cover, so you can have a Wijnaldum going forward, you can have a Thiago going forward, you know what I mean, without being worried of, being counter-attacked and stuff like that, because you'll be alright, you got cover, behind you, so have Wijnaldum go forward and Thiago, so I'd have it on 6 or 5. Free kicks and corners is really personal preference now. Going back to the instructions, right, and what I was talking about just like a minute ago, talking about the width and stuff like that. I have them unbalanced. The fullbacks, I have them unbalanced because the counter attacks is deadly on this game. Yeah, I don't know. You guys must know that by now. Counter attacks are deadly, and not all the time can you have these guys going forward. So if Robertson's going forward, most likely Trent might, stay back. Do you know what I mean? If it's on balance. Now, if you've got them both on join the attack, both of them will go forward. Do you know what I mean? On the attack, and then it'll leave a 2 at the back. So at least it's up to you whether you want Robertson stay back and Trent go forward. Do you know what I mean? Or you can even have Trent go forward or Robertson stay back, or you can keep it on balance, because if you have one stay back, then it makes a 3 realistically. Do you know what I'm trying to say? If you have both of them go forward, it really fluctuates. You know what I mean? I don't know. So it's really up to you. It's a sticky one in this game. I haven't even come up with a solution, and I love tactics, and I don't even know what to do with this one. So that's why I got the width on 6. It's because not all the time do I want my fullbacks going forward. So Salah and Mane have to provide the width. You need width in your team in a 4-3-3. Do you know what I mean? So that's just for me anyway. I need width in my team, especially when I'm playing on 6 width, for the offensive style and stuff like that. So yeah, man, balance for me, because I'm trying to be realistic as well. So I'd have it on balanced for both wing backs. Van Dijk, Gomez, I don't set no instructions. Alisson, I don't really have him as a sweeper keeper because we're not that high up the field, the back line. So I have him on balance. Fabinho is arguably the most important midfielder, most important player in your team, because he's the guy to break up, transitions, break up, play, and stop counter attacks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So Fabinho, cover centre, very important. Stay back. You just need to stay in his position. That's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to go forward. Doesn't need to make no runs. Leave that to Wijnaldum and Thiago. Thiago is not as good as Wijnaldum going forward, but he's better at dictating the play. So it's realistic. It's more realistic to have him deeper. Do you know what I mean? Dictating the play, picking out passes and stuff like that. But occasionally, you can have the likes of Thiago in these little, half spaces, like what Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne do for Man City, getting them half spaces, because not all the time is Trent going to provide width. So Salah's going to have to provide it. So who's going to be in them half spaces? Because normally Salah's going to be in here making runs. Sometimes it's going to be out here. So maybe you might need someone like Thiago in here. So the best instruction you could do for that is maybe just balance. Do you know what I mean? Balanced or get forward on the attack and support. So for me, I'll just go stay on the edge because I like Thiago more deeper. That's just for me anyway. But occasionally you do see, in real life, Thiago in them half spaces at times. But if you ask me, the Bayern Munich Thiago, prefer him in there really, where Fabinho is. But it is what it is. Cover centre, Wijnaldum, because of his stats and how good he is, you do want him going forward. Remember, you've only got realistically 3 players for you going forward. You got Mane, Firmino, Salah. I don't think that's enough in my opinion. So when you got Wijnaldum going forward, it makes a 4, going forward. So it's almost turns into a 4-2-4. You know what I mean? You got Wijnaldum, just behind Firmino, so it makes a 4. And then yeah, it gives you more support, you know, and increases your chances of scoring. So why not get forward, cover centre, and he's got good work rate, so you get back in time for a counter. So Firmino, false nine, very important. That's what Firmino does. He's not a guy to get in behind. He doesn't have the pace to do that, but Firmino can definitely drop in, get the ball. Good in. He works well in, you know, tight spaces as well. So Firmino false nine makes sense for me. Mane. I don't have Mane defensive support on comeback. Normally you see me on comeback, but Liverpool don't really do that as much. They normally have their guys already up there ready for a counter attack, and that's the thing that's so dangerous about Liverpool. They're so attacking like that. Do you know what I mean? So balanced chance creation, cut inside. He makes that diagonal run because he's cutting in on his right foot, so it makes sense. You know what I mean? To cut inside for the chance creation and getting behind. You know what I mean? So he's got the pace. Same with Salah. Same thing I've done with Salah. Cutting behind and cutting behind. You know, cut inside and getting behind, and support on crosses, get in the box. I think every winger needs to do that, really. Do you know what I mean? Every winger has to do that, get in the box, you know what I mean, for a cross. You need a goal, you know what I mean? So, yeah, get in the box for a cross for Mane as well. So that's the tactics for that variation. So for anyone that wants to press, this is the way for me. And this is how I'll do it with a 4-3-3 with Liverpool. Remember what I said, get tight, get stuck in. Don't worry about counter attacks too much. You got Van Dijk, you got Gomez. They're pretty decent in terms of pace, and you know, Van Dijk is very good. He's a god in the game. Do you know what I mean? He's the Godfather. So you know what I mean. You should be alright in that aspect. You know what I mean? Because you've got Fabinho, Wijnaldum, and Thiago. They're both, well, them three are all good at, you know, at pressing. So you shouldn't have a problem at pressing your opponents and stuff like that. Just be good at player switching, practice that, and yeah, man, just get stuck in. Don't be afraid. Don't drop off. Just get stuck in. Now, the other variation, we've gone with the 5-2-3 formation. Now, I know you guys are thinking Liverpool don't even play this. It's true, Liverpool don't play this, right? But this is the only way you can actually get your wing backs involved in the attacking phase without the risk of conceding goals from the counter. Because remember, you've got three centre backs. I've made numerous videos talking about the three at the back and why I think it's the best formation in the game in terms of getting your, you know, wing backs forward and stuff like that. So for me, this is the only way to get your wing backs involved and keep that balance. You know what I mean? From the, you know, obviously you got Robertson and then you got Alexander-Arnold going forward, but if they lose the ball, you got Fabinho, you got Van Dijk, and you got Gomez to cover. Do you know what I mean? Plus the centre mids as well. So this is what I've gone with: Van Dijk, Fabinho, as you can see, Thiago, Wijnaldum, Firmino, Mane, Salah. The difference between this, this has been modified, by the way. Normally with the 5-4-1 that EA give you, Firmino's up here. Do you know what I mean? But I've dropped him off here because he's a false nine. You know what I mean? He's a centre forward. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed from the 4-3-3 to the 5-2-3 is I've literally just dropped this guy here. That's all I've done. That's all I've done. There is no difference between the two formations. And once you drop this guy in, the natural thing is to do, well, the natural thing to do is to push your wing backs in it. Do you know what I mean? So that's the formation. Now the tactics, don't copy this one. This is what I normally do. It's either 4-3 or 3-3. I don't really like to press with the 5 at the back. I like to just sit. Do you know what I mean? Just to sit, absorb pressure, and wait for counter attacks. So that's what I normally do with this formation. With Liverpool, Liverpool are very good with the counter attacks because they've got pace, they've got Mane and Salah. Do you know what I mean? And it can work. It can work with Liverpool. So width I have on 3, depth I have on 3, and keep it on balance as well. Offensive style, balanced, width. The width now, is lower. It can be 3 or 4 because at the end of the day, Mane and Salah are making room for Trent and Robertson to go down the lines. You know what I mean? I've already spoke about this. You put it, when you put the width further down for the offensive style or the offense, that means that they come more narrow. Your players are more narrow, so they're more closer to each other, which is good for the likes of Firmino because he won't be as isolated as if Salah and Mane were wider. Do you know what I mean? So they've come in and trying to help out, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold to make room to occupy the wider spaces. So 3 or 4, it's really up to you. Players in the box, it's lower because I've only got 2 centre mid. So if Thiago goes forward and then I get countered, I've only got 1 centre mid to cover for Thiago. So about 4, 5. It's up to you. Maybe 5, 4. It really depends. Depending on the game. Do you know what I mean? If you're winning, drop it 3. If you're losing, need a goal, 5, 6. Do you know what I mean? It's really up to you. Corners, free kicks, personal preference. Corners, I'll just go near post anyway. It really don't matter. Van Dijk as well, such a threat from corners anyway. So that's the best thing to do. Just go front post or do a short one. So instructions, keep it all the same. I don't even touch Fabinho. Keep him the same. Fabinho can play that role. He can. I know a lot of people think maybe he's not that good playing that role because he's slow, but his positioning is good. His interceptions are good. His passing is good. Do you know what I mean? So he can play that role. He can break the lines from that deep as well because he's got the passing stats because he is a CDM. You know what I mean? So he can play that role. Robertson join the attack overlap. We already spoke about that. Thiago, stay back. Kind of spoke about this before in a 4-3-3. I like to see him more deeper because he dictates the play, breaks the lines from deep instead of him going forward and stuff. Yeah, he's good at that. Don't get me wrong. He's techie. I mean, he's got that elegance. But the Thiago I know, I've seen from Barcelona and that, he's the deeper Thiago. Do you know what I mean? That's dictating it. I see. That's the best way I could perfect him in this role is playing him left centre mid but deeper. Wijnaldum's a bit further up because he's more offensive. Have you seen how good Wijnaldum is for Netherlands? That's what I'm trying to say. So Wijnaldum, stay on the edge. He's not as attacking as he is in the 4-3-3 just because I've only got 2 centre mids, so I don't want to get countered. So cover centre for him, cover centre for Thiago as well. Trent join the attack overlap. Firmino, false 9. Firmino when you play against a 3 at the back, right? This is what happens. A lot of people are restless when it comes to Firmino, and what I mean by that is a lot of people like to get really tight to Firmino. I don't know what it is. People just don't rate Firmino, so they feel like, yeah, man, let me just get tight to him. Do you know what I mean? And when he turns that defender, the last defender, there's so much space in behind Mane and Salah to run into. There's literally a gap in between. Let's say if you were playing against a 3 at the back, and then that middle centre back goes to tightly press Firmino. Firmino spins him because he's so good on the ball. Salah or Mane makes that run, cut inside run like we set, for the instructions. It makes a run inside because there's so much space in behind, and then bang, you know what I mean? There's a goal. It's a goal. It's a goal, man. They're so clinical. So that's why I have Firmino as a false 9 instead of just a striker. That's why I've changed it. Mane is a left winger, but everything is the same. Everything is the same, guys. You know what I mean? Nothing has changed. Only thing that's changed is I've dropped Fabinho. I've dropped literally this is all I've done, guys. This is all I've done. This is all I've done. Boom. And boom. That's all I've done. Is there any difference? Apart from maybe that. And that's just, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? So I only do that for you guys to make it clear. You know what I mean? For you to make you see what I want from the players. And that's really what I do that for. But yeah, man, Liverpool, interesting team. A lot of energy. Got some very good players. Strengths, pressing. They're a very energetic team. So you want to use that to your advantage, get tight to your opponents. Um, Very quick team as well, you know, quick in their passing. You got Thiago, good technical players, and Wijnaldum. Um, the disadvantages of this team, it really depends, man. Sometimes people can't use Firmino. Sometimes I struggle with Firmino, so you can play a little Jota in there. We can even do that maybe. I don't even know. It's really up to you what you want to do with the front three, but a lot of people do say that Trent Alexander-Arnold can be a weakness. So maybe a five at the back would work because he's got cover. Do you know what I mean? Gomez can cover for, you know, Trent. With a four at the back, it's different. He's not that quick in terms of getting back for the counter. So it's the same type of problems they have in real life as well. Firmino can be isolated out the game and not really influence the game that you'd want him to. And I think Firmino's a baller. I like Firmino. I got a lot of time for Firmino, but this season it's not clicked for him, man. And yeah, the system is broken at the moment, and I don't know what's going on with Liverpool. It's more than just players that they need to bring in, man. There's some things they just need to do in terms of the system. It's been bad from the recruitment, man. Like the signings. Once you win the league, man, you got to sign players. It can't just be Thiago coming in that team. It's got to be more, man. It's got to be more. But yeah, Klopp's a great manager. I expect them to get back into it again next season. Still, for me, the second best team in the league, but not on form right now. They're nowhere near that. Definitely not. But I still fancy them in the Champions League. I still think they're probably the third best team in the Champions League, just underneath um, Bayern Munich and Man City. But yeah, anyway, man, Liverpool, great team to use. Have fun with them. Very good. I like them. And yeah, man, if this doesn't work, I've got another variation that might work with these lot. It's not as strong as the 4-3-3 or the 5-2-3, but it could work. It really depends. But hopefully this helps you out. You know what I mean? Hopefully this is good for the attacking guys. This is good for the defensive guys. You know what I mean? Hopefully I've given a balance for you lot. But yeah, man, enjoy. More videos to come. Take care. Peace.